morning, students. Today I am going to start a new unit which is unit number 2, that is programming in Java. All of you are very much familiar with the Java programming language, as you all have typed and executed many Java programs during your practical classes in 11th standard. Now this chapter, which is chapter number 3 in your book, a revision tour to GUI programming using NetBeans, will teach you about some basic concepts of Java that involves the Java programming using the NetBeans interface and the use of swing controls while developing a Java application. Let's start this chapter with the topic Event-Driven Programming. Now, before I teach you what is event-driven programming and why Java falls under that, you need to understand what an event is. So firstly, what is an event? An event is the occurrence of something. It can be the click of a mouse button, a pressing of a key from the keyboard, etc. Now, in event-driven programming, a piece of code gets executed in response to a particular event. For example, a code can be executed as a response to the click of a mouse button. And here, the clicking of a mouse button is an event. Now, if you take the case of a real-world example where a biller generates the bill for a particular customer buying goods from a store, the bill is prepared only in response to the click event of a button. In this case, the biller clicks that button and produces the event. And for the bill to be generated, a certain piece of code gets executed internally in response to that click event of a button. Such types of event-driven programming can be easily done with the help of Java programming language. And that's why Java is regarded as an event-driven programming language. In addition to that, Java has a graphical user interface, in short GUI, that helps in handling event-driven programming. As such, this graphical user interface in Java has different types of graphical controls. Examples of such graphical controls are the text boxes, the buttons, the labels, etc. And these graphical tools helps the Java programming language in handling the events. There are three components of an event-driven programming. Those are, the first one is event source object, followed by the event object and the event listeners. So what actually is the event source object? We can say that the particular object from where the event gets generated as the event source object. A common example can be a mouse button or a key in a keyboard. Both these objects can be the source of a particular event. The mouse button can be the source of the click event, and the keyboard key can be the source of the key press event. So that's why both these objects, that is the mouse button and the keyboard key, are the examples of event source objects. Now once the event source creates an event, an object is generated that describes the nature of the event. This object is called as the event object or the event message object. Say for example, if an event source such as the mouse button produces the click event, then that click event which gets generated through the hit of the mouse button can become the event object or the event message object. In Java, events come under different classes. Some classes are action event, key event, mouse event, and etc. Now once the event source generates an event object gets created, and in response to that certain actions also get executed. We call it as the event listener. Now see the pictorial representation showing the event handling mechanism in Java. At first, the event source creates the event. Then the event message object gets generated, and in response to that certain actions get executed, which are the event listeners. For doing Java programming, we need the help of a text editor where we can type the Java code. Examples of such text editors can be a notepad or a wordpad. In both these text editors, that is notepad or the wordpad, the Java code can be typed. But such text editors are good for developing only small and simple applications in Java. These editors are not meant to be used for very large and complex applications that will include millions of lines of code. Text editors can become cumbersome if used for such purposes. So we need an alternative solution to using such text editors. So what do you think is the alternative to using such text editors? The solution is to use NetBeans for that purpose. NetBeans provides a very sophisticated, integrated development environment, in short IDE, for coding, compiling, debugging, and testing Java applications. Not only in Java, but NetBeans can also be used for developing applications in other programming languages like C, C++, or PHP. Now see some of the terms used in this slide. Coding. Coding refers to the piece of Java code if Java is used as the programming language. Next, compiling. Compiling denotes checking for some grammatical or syntactical errors in the piece of code that has been typed. Then debugging. Debugging means rectifying or removing the errors in the piece of code. Then testing. Testing helps us to check whether the particular Java program gives accurate results or not. Let us now discuss about the components of a NetBeans window. The first component of the NetBeans window is Project Explorer. This Project Explorer shows the available Java projects, its associated packages, and the program files. The next component is the design window. This window provides a workspace for designing the user interface. Then the next component that we have is the palette window. The palette window lists the AWT. The full form of AWT is Application Window Toolkit. That means the palette window lists the Application Window Toolkit. In addition to that, the palette window also lists the swing controls, and that's why this palette window is also called as toolbox. Let's continue with the remaining components of a NetBeans window. At first, see the component properties window. There are many controls that can be used in a Java interface. Common examples are text boxes, labels, buttons, checkboxes, combo boxes, and etc. The properties window is used to set the properties of these controls. Then the last component of a NetBeans window is the navigator window. The navigator window lists the name of controls that are used in the user interface. Look at the diagram in this slide. This diagram shows all the components of a NetBeans window with the help of arrows. If you see the diagram clearly, the design window provides the workspace for designing the user interface. The palette window shows the swing controls such as the text box, labels, radio buttons, checkboxes, etc. The Project Explorer shows the list of projects available. The Properties window sets the properties of some controls. The Navigator window shows the names of controls that are used in the user interface.